U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a 25% tariff on all car and light truck imports into the country.
Germany, located in Central Europe, has a long history in car manufacturing and technology. It's a major player in global trade and has strengthened its economy through years of close ties with the United States.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a 25% tariff on all car and light truck imports into the country.
Germany, which had tried to keep a diplomatic balance within the European Union, learned that the Trump administration's 25% tariff on car imports was just the start and sent a clear message. If they underestimate us, we will respond with all we've got. Germany isn't alone this time. On the same day, France reacted similarly, saying they're not afraid of a tough trade fight with the United States, strengthening Europe's united stance. American officials must now realize the seriousness of this anger because Germany is Europe's industrial giant and a global exporter of cars and machinery. If this continues, it could lead to an economic break between Washington and Berlin not seen in decades. A senior German official stated that nothing is off the table, immediately bringing to mind potential taxes and restrictions on U.S. tech giants. Until now, Germany has generally taken a softer approach compared to its European allies and avoided a direct tariff war with the United States. But on that day, Germany said, "Our measures won't be limited to cars." There could be very harsh responses in technology, agriculture, and possibly taxes on digital services. This was almost a, if you're waiting for them, we're ready response to the Trump administration's warning that it started with 25%, but, if necessary, bigger tariffs are on the way. At the same time, signals from Berlin implied that Germany wouldn't sit idly by if the U.S. imposed new tariffs on steel or technology products and might even act jointly with the European Union. This protectionist tug-of-war, which started over the last 2 years over cars, looks set to expand to new sectors like electric vehicles, battery technology, and even artificial intelligence software. Germany's position is crucial because it's the engine of the European Union. A significant portion of the EU's total trade revolves around products from Germany, especially car brands like Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and Volkswagen, which have millions of vehicles on U.S. roads. Estimates suggest that Germany's car and parts exports to the U.S. exceeded $30 billion by 2024. Additionally, machinery and equipment, chemical products, and high-tech devices also hold a significant share. Germany is one of the leading suppliers to the U.S. car market, but Trump's 25% tariff has really affected the industry. When German car sales dropped because of higher prices, the Berlin government started saying, "We can't stay silent about this one-sided action." Not only that, on the morning of March 5th, a German government spokesperson said, "If needed, we can also put extra taxes on American cars, electronics, or farm products." For the U.S. government, Germany is not an easy opponent. It's not just a country. It's the strongest economy in the whole European Union. Other big EU members like France, Italy, and Spain are also talking about the idea of creating joint response packages against the U.S., led by the European Commission. The clearest sign of this came when the head of the European Commission said, "U.S. auto tariffs are a direct hit on Europe's economy, and we already have our countermeasures ready." Some EU officials have even said the response won't stop with cars. They might also add rules against American airlines or tech companies. That could really shake up global trade. Canada has also threatened to fight back. Between Europe's huge market and Canada's pressure, the trade flows between the U.S., EU, and Canada, which total about $1 trillion, might start falling apart bit by bit. Germany's statement that they are also thinking about taxing U.S. tech companies brought the digital services tax topic back to life. A few years ago, Germany and France had tried to start such a tax but stopped because of U.S. pressure. Now there's a new idea. If Trump hits us with tariffs on cars, steel, and energy, then we don't have to stay quiet when it comes to taxing digital companies. But the retaliation might not end there. Germany is also thinking about adding more taxes to American farm goods, lowering the amount they import, or passing rules that make it harder for U.S. farmers to sell in Europe. That could really upset farmers in America, since Europe is an important customer for U.S. crops. If this goes further, Trump's team could feel serious pressure at home. Germany is leading the fight against Trump's car tariffs, saying it won't give up. Berlin is getting ready to take strong action, not just from the trade ministry, but also from top government leaders. On March 5th, Germany's finance minister said, "We won't hesitate to protect our country's interests." The U.S. may be our biggest trading partner, but that doesn't mean the relationship only goes one way. Then the economy minister warned that high tariffs from the U.S. would seriously hurt global trade. It looks like Germany is ready to stop being so polite in its diplomacy. If Germany drops that mask, it could cause big problems, not just in trade talks, but in its relationship with the U.S. Some Americans believe Trump will back off, especially if he has to deal with both the EU and Canada at once. But Trump still wants to win. Experts say if Germany leads the EU and gets support from Canada too, the U.S. will be under huge pressure. Trump could lose access to $1 trillion in trade. Even just cutting off German car and machinery sales to the U.S. could cause tens of thousands of jobs to disappear on both sides. Nobody wants that, but political goals seem stronger than economic logic right now. This is exactly what Berlin means when they say, "Nothing is off the table. If needed, we'll accept the cost and hit back." Germany's big car companies like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi want to protect themselves. If U.S. tariffs go up, they might have to move more production to America. But even there, getting the parts they need could be harder. So the situation is complicated. German companies are asking their government not to fight back too hard, while also telling the Trump administration, "Your tariffs are unfair. Please cancel them quickly." But Germany's current leaders are saying, "We won't give in anymore. We've already made enough efforts to keep peace. Even if we lose money from our car brands, we won't back down, out of pride for our country and for Europe." Most Germans agree with this strong position. Many in Berlin are saying, yes, we value our relationship with the U.S., but it shouldn't be one-sided. On March 5th, when Trump added a 25% tax on German cars, people on the streets were asking, why shouldn't we fight back? France and Italy are also part of this situation. If the U.S. increases tariffs, these countries might struggle to sell their farm goods, luxury items, and tech products. France would be hit hard on things like wine and cheese. Italy would suffer in areas like fashion and food. In response, French leaders are talking about putting taxes on U.S. farm products. Germany is hinting that it might act together with France. They could even make a joint plan at the EU level. There's also talk about adding digital taxes on American tech companies as part of this plan. Some people are asking if the EU might go even further, maybe even target American aerospace companies like Boeing or tech startups in Silicon Valley. If that happens, it could push the crisis between Europe and the U.S. to a whole new level. If Canada cuts energy exports and Europe adds new digital taxes, the U.S. could find itself without many allies. Since March, German news headlines have been saying, "We will not bow to Trump." They say they were patient during the steel and aluminum tariffs, but they won't stay quiet now that cars are being targeted. People working at Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and Volkswagen are saying these tariffs are badly hurting their companies. Exports are down and some factories are slowing production. German labor unions are also protesting. They say, if America is starting a trade war, our government must not just stand by and do nothing. The Berlin government is feeling serious pressure from its people and may be forced to take strong action against Trump. This is the real meaning behind the headlines. Germany may strike back against Trump tariffs with all means. On the outside, Germany looks calm, but inside, it's angry. And that anger could grow into a storm that even hits the United States. Germany's leadership in Europe is now going up against Trump's warning. If the EU and Canada work together, we'll raise tariffs even higher. We don't yet know how far Germany will go, how united the EU will stay, or if Canada will follow the same path. But if the U.S. won't agree to a fair deal, Germany might go ahead with taxes on U.S. cars and tech companies. If that happens, it could damage the global economy, which is already unstable. Trade wars have shown over and over that nobody really wins, but Trump's team still says, we're a strong country, we can't lose. Germany says, we've had enough, these aggressive tariffs must stop, and we will answer them. France and other EU countries are likely to support Germany. If they all work together, a large part of the $1 trillion the U.S. makes from trade could be at risk. So what does this all mean? Some think that threats from Europe and Canada will push the U.S. to sit down and talk. Others think Trump won't back down, and this could turn into a full-blown crisis. It's clear that Germany won't let go of its car industry. It's the heart of both its own economy and the EU's. The EU probably won't let Germany face this fight alone. That's why the title, Germany May Strike Back Against Trump Tariffs with Everything It Has, isn't an exaggeration. It's the tough truth. Germany is using its history and economy to challenge the U.S. The message is, take us seriously, or we will respond. This is also sparking a big debate about global leadership. The EU has often seemed disorganized, but now, trying to stand united against the U.S. could bring a new sense of unity. Time will tell if Trump's divide and rule tactic will split EU countries, but right now, France and Germany are standing strong together. Now people are wondering if American business groups, especially those in farming, industry, and tech, will pressure the U.S. government to stop. If Germany strikes back with full power, U.S. companies could really struggle in Europe. That might cause American leaders to question Trump's plan. If Canada also joins in, the U.S. could lose energy and parts from the north, and lose big markets in Europe for cars and tech. That would be a double hit. Germany may be hoping for U.S. politics to soften a bit. But since March, Trump has shown no signs of backing down. He keeps saying, if you hit us, we'll hit harder with even bigger tariffs. German experts say the trade flow is so big that if things go wrong, both sides will pay, but the U.S. will lose more. So the big question is, will Trump take that risk? Is Germany really going all in to fight back? Or is it just trying to look strong for better negotiations? If Germany really does go after the American market and gets help from Canada, Trump may have made a huge gamble. Maybe in the end, both sides will meet at the table and find a middle ground. But right now the talk is too harsh. No one is showing signs of compromise. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want us to keep following this story. Now that Germany's anger is spreading across Europe, the question of whether Trump's one-sided trade decisions will be stopped is going to be a big issue. As the trade war continues between the world's biggest powers, Germany looks set to be one of the key players. We'll be watching every move, and maybe, just maybe, Washington will back off when Berlin takes its final shot. If not, this trade war could go over the edge and seriously damage the world economy. Time will tell, and we're watching closely.